so our topic for today is inspired by Carlos Rodon, friend of the AL Central, pitched for the White Sox for quite a few years. Just headcanon, and not just me, but reading it online, even with the broadcasts, there's been this premise out there that Rodon just owns Cleveland, to the point that, I mean, the thing that really sticks out is the no-hitter he threw in 2021 against the Guards.
So close to a perfect game.
The lone base runner, I forget who the batter was, or maybe you remember, but the pitch.
It was the catcher, Perez.
Roberto Perez, thank you. The pitch skimmed the shoelace of Roberto Perez in the ninth inning, and that was the lone base runner in the ball game for the Indians.
21 had a bunch of no-hitters. That was a weird year.
Yeah, that was the year of the no-hitter. That was the whole sticky stuff, crackdown, all that stuff. This was all part of that. But yeah, that was kind of the seminal moment in the Carlos Rodon domination of Cleveland. But, like I said, it was a perception thing. It was entirely, I had never seen any data to back it. But it turns out that, thanks to some crack research by Eric, turns out that Carlos Rodon is legitimately the most dominant pitcher against Cleveland, at least this millennium. 2.59 ERA again, not ERA against 2.59 ERA is best of anybody, period. And so it's not just a perception; it's reality. Is that Rodon, a pretty good pitcher? I mean, not necessarily a Cy Young Award winner that level, but solid 2, I would say.
Didn't he win a Cy Young with San Francisco though?
Did he? You might have to edit that.
Maybe fact check me.
No.
He wasn't. He was in top 3.
He had a good year. He didn't win the Cy Young with them though.
Yeah, no Cy Young.
What was the votes
for
count? Do you have a page up?
So he got 5th in Cy Young in 21, and then 6th in Cy Young in 22 with the Giants.
Okay, maybe he wasn't that close.
Okay, so he's a little bit better than I'm representing, where he could be somebody's ace, but not necessarily a guy I think of as kind of that top tier shut him down type of pitcher, and he's been superb against Cleveland in his career. So it's not just people's perception or remembering that no hitter; it's the real deal. But that got me to thinking, and I was curious of some hitters as well over the course of time that have been strong against Cleveland. And I want to play a quick game here, where name which of these ball players sticks out. Basically, is what I'm going for. And this is stats from 2010 to 2025. All of the following have a 1. OPS against Cleveland in that 15-year span. Adrian Beltre, Robinson Cano, Rafael Devers, Curtis Granderson, Kyle Schwarber, Wilson Betemit, Shohei Ohtani.
I mean, Shohei's Asian. Is that what
he's Japanese.
Is that what you're going
easy.
for?
Yeah, spot the difference. Come on, he's a pitcher. I mean,
yeah, it's true. It's pitcher. Like, is that?
So
No, I'm guessing you meant Wilson Betemit.
3 Hall of Famers, a really good ball player in Granderson, Schwarber, one of the best power hitters of our time. Ohtani's 4 future Hall of Famers, and then Wilson Betemit, who slashed 310, 414, 589 in his career against Cleveland, a 167 WRC plus from a switch hitting journeyman infielder. Had an 11-year career, but 2.8 career WAR, and somehow, some way, just dominated Cleveland. And I don't know how to explain it. I'll be honest, I don't even necessarily remember it. This was a bit of a surprise to me, but the numbers don't lie. He was excellent against Cleveland. You can see some other names on the board here. I did stats through 2010 to 2025, like I said, but some other interesting names that kind of came up in the course of the research Eric did. D'Angelo Jimenez. I'm assuming, Oren, you remember D'Angelo Jimenez. I vaguely remember him.
I do.
Yeah.
As a pretty light hitting second baseman, top of the order guy back when that had a certain connotation it doesn't have now.
I used to think he was like I used to think he was such a star. I didn't know anything about baseball. I was like 5.
Because his first name was D'Angelo, and that's awesome. And that's
I was like, a name like that, this guy's got to be like one of the best, right?
I do like the name of this, like Who is Jose Cruz? Does anyone remember Jose Cruz?
I have no idea who that
no.
is.
Completely blank.
I'm thinking about Jose Cruz Jr., but he played for like Toronto in 1998, so I don't know if that's the same guy or not. I don't.
Wow, there
that could be the same guy.
0 socks on that list. So that's fun.
I mean, beyond that, a bunch of names you would expect: Manny Ramirez, Jason Giambi, but some interesting ones. Milton Bradley, who had been a member of the Indians, really good ball player who just mentally had some demons off the field and on the field outside of actually playing baseball. But a bunch of other guys. Jack Cust is on there. Sabermetric darling. Oh, I got
Milton Bradley. Milton Bradley though is part of one of my favorite Twins highlights of all time. When he forgot how many outs there were. He was on the Cubs at the time. Joe Mauer hit a fly ball to him. He threw it into the stands, and the runner from second just scored because he thought it was 3 outs.
I don't remember that, but that's awesome.
No, you should look it up after this. It's a great highlight.
No, the rest of these names seem to make sense. There's a couple that are kind of weird, like Luke Scott. I don't remember at all.
I believe he was an outfielder for Baltimore, and
I remember Luke Scott.
Yeah.
I think you're right.
And the Orioles. He was like a real Southern type guy.
Okay, I think now it's vaguely ringing a bell. I couldn't picture him, but I think I remember the jersey. But I think you're right.
Yeah.
And then,
the one thing that really hurt. The only thing that really hurt on that list was seeing some of the former Clevelanders, Ramirez and Bradley. Beyond that, it's pretty.
Cleveland great Jason Giambi. You can't forget about
also true.
He had a good year at DH.
I mean, he hit one of the most impactful home runs of, I believe it was the 2013 playoff run for the Indians at the time. So a little bit of a contribution there, absolutely. Most importantly, it's a great day to beat the Yankees. Cards win 4-0. It's a great day to shut out the Yankees, actually.
Nice.
So I'm still in a good mood for what it matters.
We'll move on to Chicago. Oren, before I pull up this list, is there anyone mentally you can think of that destroyed them?
Well, in my mind goes to obviously Jose Ramirez. Miguel Cabrera, it seems like I've watched him get 3,000 hits against us alone. Jacques Jones just jumps to mind. I feel like I think just because of his name, I remember him more than some of his contemporaries. But those Twins Sox era, that was such a fun time for that rivalry, and it felt like everyone on those teams, going through Michael Kadire and Kubel. What was his name? Jason Kubel.
Kubel, Corey. I mean, he was later. You had Corey Koski. You had the Piranhas.
Yeah.
Doug Minkiewicz.
Yeah, and then
who replaced David Ortiz twice, technically. The Twins played him over Ortiz, and then the Red Sox traded for Minkiewicz the year they won the title, and then Ortiz became a legend.
I don't think he might not have enough of a sample size for the list, or he might just not make the cut, but Josh Naylor. And that's probably recency bias, but it feels like he destroyed the White Sox.
If you look up the stats against him, let's see.
If you did it 7th inning or later, I bet he's at the top of the list.
I looked at the Twins. I'll spoil it. I looked for the Nailers just because I wanted to see. His overall numbers, Josh Naylor against the Twins, it's like 800, not spectacular. But yes, all of that 800 is in the 8th inning or later, I feel.
Yeah, so Josh Naylor versus the White Sox, this is from StatMuse, 342 batting average, 8 home runs, 64 hits, 34 RBIs in 50 games.
You know what's weird? So I'm going to pull up the list now. Oren, you were 0 for 5.
And I saw this before we started, so.
I love that Marco Scudero was on it. You're the only reason
I don't remember any of that. He must have just hit a ton of singles against us.
Right. I mean, for 7 years, too. That wasn't just all that small. I like Jermaine Dye's on it. I can't remember. He was with the White Sox forever. What was his other team? Was it Oakland?
Oakland and Kansas City, yeah.
There you go. I love that it's Jim Thome.
Mike Cameron did a lot of this all in one game. There was one. He had a 4 home run game against the White Sox.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Wilson Contreras, yeah, he's Tommy was good for us. Mickey or Mikey Matuk,
Tiger, great.
Michael Massey.
Michael,
That's kind
I
of
wonder
random.
if Sam would have picked out that Michael Massey is really good against the White Sox.
Okay, well, there's only one name on this list I don't recognize, and that's Bobby Higginson.
Number 20.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember Bobby Higginson.
Who was he on?
Was it Kansas City?
The Tigers. He's on
Was
the
it?
Tigers for a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, in the 90s.
Yeah, I don't remember him because he played until 2005, which is when I was 4. So, yeah. He was on the Tigers for 10 years. He was decent. I'm looking at it. 272 career batting average. OPS plus 113 over his career. So he was a pretty good player.
I mean, if you're going to get lit up by teams or by players, Aaron Judge, Ohtani, Manny Ramirez, Palmeiro, Aramis Ramirez, that's a pretty good 1 through 5. If you're going to get beat, at least you're getting beat by those 5.
Yeah, but 1.4 OPS, that's insane.
Yeah,
I mean, I know it's Aaron Judge, but that's still insane.
What is Jose Ramirez against us?
Who's the Jose Ramirez?
I think so. And then some guys suffer from too much sample size. Like
probably
the OPS, the lowest OPS there was like 9 something. Jose Ramirez is, like you said, probably in the high 8s, but he's played so many games against us by now that the guys who have like a 1.4, like Judge, Ohtani, they haven't played a ton of games against the White Sox. 32, 38.
Right.
Okay, so Jose Ramirez in 168 games is batting .261 with 34 home runs, 102 RBIs.
What slugging?
I don't have the stat for that because StatMuse didn't give it to me.
Sure.
261. Yeah, he slugs a lot against them. A lot of those hits are homers.
If I didn't say, this is for 100 plate appearances too, so it is it's still small, but at least
I bet if you upped that, it would get a lot more. Like Jose Ramirez and.
Yeah.
I think if I put it to 200, like maybe like a season's worth of plate appearances, Ramirez would be on every one of the Central's list.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of these don't have a lot of Central guys because as we play each other so much, the numbers even out.
Yeah.
Them pitching versus Chicago, this is not exactly. I mean, Justin Masterson had a good 3 years.
He was with Cleveland, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Side armor.
He went somewhere after us, and I'll be honest, I don't remember where. But yeah, Masterson was our ace at one point during the Maniacta era. So
Kyle Loesch is
that didn't last very long.
It's so sad looking at this.
Kyle Loesch was sneaky good. Like he was. Kyle Gibson to me is the real, and Bruce Chen to me would be the insulting names.
Other than that, it's a lot of guys who were good for a while.
Yeah.
It's really sad looking at all these, and I know all these guys from the 2014 rotation are going to be on there for me. Rick Porcello, Scherzer, Verlander.
Oh, yeah.
And not for nothing, you get to Kyle Loesch, he had a 4.10 ERA. It's not like it was that stellar either.
Fister was on the first one we looked at against Cleveland.
Yeah.
Is this 100?
He was what, the 5th starter during those monster years?
Kluber at 3, too. One of the best games I've ever been to live, which is kind of surprising because, like many of us, I'd imagine if you go live, you kind of want to see an offense game. You'd rather see like 10-9 rather than like 2-1. But if it's such a good pitcher's game, then it kind of wraps back around to being exciting again. And I don't remember exactly what game it was, but it was Chris Sale versus Corey Kluber. They both went one of them went 8, the other went 9 innings. Both went 0 runs, and I think Cleveland won like 1-0, or the White Sox won 1-0 in 10. But either way, the whole spectacle of the game was just like both of them were absolute dogs, like all night long. It was really fun. Good times.
All right, Lee. I know you've already looked at these lists and cheated a little bit, but name off the top of the dome, who kills you?
The guys that come to mind immediately are Nelson Cruz, Jose Ramirez, and Tim Anderson. Tim Anderson always killed us, even though he's not been as good, but he still did really well against us. Jose Ramirez, I think I mentioned this last week when we were talking about the series, but I saw, I think it was Chris Castellani tweeted out, like, if we had decided in 2016 to just walk Jose Ramirez every at bat, I think he would have done less damage against us. that kind of thing. And Nelson Cruz, I mean, he was insane because he had a home run like every other day against us, it seemed. When he was traded to Tampa, I celebrated because I was like, we all did, because we're like, thank God he's out of our division. I mean, the way the schedule worked out that year, we still had to play him 6 times anyway, but like it was still, we don't have to face him anymore. It was really, it was insane.
When they traded Nelson Cruz, you wouldn't have mind facing him. He had like a 650 OPS against Tampa that year, but he still
destroyed us though, because
they were both kind of old, but him and Donaldson both in that lineup, they were just so that the aura that they both had and like the power pedigree, it was just insane.
I'm gonna pull up.
I think that's why they definitely taught everyone on that 2019 team, like, guys, this is how you hit bombs.
This is one of the COVID season absolutely hosed the Twins. I'm going to pull this up because I just want to show people the lineup of the 2020 Twins, at least on paper, because it was a monster lineup and I don't think anyone quite realizes it. So let me show this here quick. So Ryan Jeffers, Sano when he was still good, Polanco, Donaldson, Buxton in his prime, Kepler was coming off a 30 home run season, Nelson Cruz, Luis Ariz, Garver was great. They had Brent Rooker, which he was terrible for them, but like they had such a deep lineup, and then Andrelton Simmons at the very tail end of his career. But they just look at the pictures of he was 2019 starting shortstop for Polanco. Buxton is Buxton. Luis Ariz is the best hitter of this generation. They just signed Josh Donaldson. Nelson Cruz was great. Mitch Garver was an above average hitting catcher. They had no pitching, so let's ignore that. But yeah, just filthy. It makes me sad. COVID happened.
2020 is the year I started watching baseball again. Did you guys make the playoffs that year?
Yes, but they got swept out by the Astros. The last year with Carlos Correa. The fuckers. I didn't say
those playoffs were so weird. There were multiple teams that got it and they were under 500, right?
The Astros
were one of them. Playoffs.
Yeah.
Sox got in and lost to the A's in a 3-game series. It was very anticlimactic. I think every team feels like they got particularly screwed that year. I feel the same way. That was supposed to be, like there was Luis Robert and Andrew Vaughn's rookie year. That was supposed to be a big development year for them. That was, the healthy part of like the Keuchel and Grandal contracts. And that was, because 20 and 21 were the 2 years that we actually made the playoffs. And it just still felt like they didn't win the division. They got in as a wild card team, and it was just such a disappointing season. And also, the fact I was so looking forward to the Astros getting booed because their scandal was the big story before COVID happened.
Yep.
And and they were going to start at like Los Angeles or whatever on
that's right
opening day. And it was going to be like a bloodbath. Like there was like they were warning fans about violence and stuff like that. And then all of a sudden, just no fan season. And
it was they still kind of fought it out. It was pretty funny. Joe Kelly with
there were some good moments, but by the time they got fans in the stands and it was 2021, people were just happy to be back. And they got booed. Of course, they still do.
It's like Carlos Correa still gets booed heavily.
Yeah, that's going to last for as long as
the rest of his career.
Bregman. Yeah, I mean, in 21 there were a few inflatable trash cans that made its way onto the field. I think at Oakland or somewhere in California, I remember. Yeah, 2020 when Tigers sucked. The only good thing that came out of 2020 is that 30 minutes after the World Series ended, Al Avila called AJ Hinch and started working on hiring him. I give Al Avila credit for 3 things. 1, drafting. 2, trading for Reese Olson. And 3, hiring AJ Hinch, because that was kind of risky.
Does anyone else in 2020?
You don't give him credit for producing his son?
True. Alex is a real person.
That's fair. 4 things. Alex Avila, because he's my favorite all-time player, so I'll give him credit for that too.
The 2020, like the last weekend of the 2020 season, like Cleveland, Minnesota, and Chicago were like in a virtual tie, and it was like who's going to get the first wild card. It was just like who you're all going to play, and because like the wonkiness of it, like it was, I think the Twins won the division, but like it Didn't seem
All
like
all it did was it made you really mad that we didn't get 162 games because it was like those. It would have
Yes.
been really fun division that year.
Yes. Oh, I'm so mad. But anyway, because like I
The thing I
legitimately
really-
feel
The only thing I really have to complain about that year is I think over 162, that was probably Jose's best opportunity to win an MVP. And like, somebody else in the division won it, and he had a great couple of months, but I think that would have at the time.
And it's
That,
just like
that would have been his one chance.
Abreu would never win an MVP in a full season. It just like that
Yeah,
even goes to show. It's a little bittersweet because it's like it just goes to show how fluky of a season it was overall. And if he didn't win it, it would have been Luke Voigt.
Yeah, Willie
Right.
Castro was a Rookie of the Year finalist, I think.
Wow.
No, and then next year he was not good. It was just a 50-game hot streak or whatever.
Yep.
Because we've played about 60 games now, right? I mean, imagine Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani are probably going to win that MVP, but that would be like going into the season. But imagine trying to crown the Cy Young or AL Rookie of the Year right now.
Right.
Like, it's going to look totally different.
Ramirez did finish second in MVP voting that year, and he carried that offense. I think that was a shot, and not to happen, unfortunately.
I mean, I feel like they got swept out in the first series like they always did because I was in the middle of the streak, but I legitimately feel the Twins were a World Series contender, and I have not been able to say that since like 2006. So I was very, very sad when COVID happened because they really could have used the full season. They had depth, they had whatever. I'm fine. Not over.
Wait, wouldn't it have changed the playoff results though? I mean, I'm just saying.
They still got swept out. That's what I said, Lee. But yes, they were in the middle of it. But they would have played instead of a 3-game series, it was 5. Very bitter about this.
And of course, all of the deaths were very sad too.
Well, why do we got to bring that up?
sad.
Why you gotta bring the mood down?
That goes without saying.
About the baseball part.
I mean, there were a bunch of really fun shenanigans that came out of the season, though. I mean, Zach Greinke going into the stadium to sit amongst the cardboard cutouts. That was
funny.
That was great. I love all the cardboard cutout stuff. Those were.
Anyway, we took a long lead. We still need to go over Detroit. So here's the list of Detroit. The names you would expect plus Luke Scott.
Yeah, pretty.
There's
a lot of.
I love that he's in between. I can't even remember who Luke Scott is, but between
we talked about friends of the AL Central, it is turning out that Luke Scott might be an enemy of the AL Central.
Yeah, wow. The Sox should have signed this guy.
He played for Houston, Baltimore, and the Rays. So.
I also love that Matt Lecroy is on this list. He was a very large gentleman who pretended to play catcher sometimes. And he somehow made the list. He played 7 years in the majors and had a 976 OPS against the Tigers. I also got to kick Matt Davidson. Did nothing in the majors except for Detroit.
He had a 3-home run game against Kansas City, and he pitched well.
One fun trend on a lot of these. There's a lot of players who played in Oakland for a while or a little bit, and then it reminded me why I disliked the A's when I was a kid, because they were kind of a rival for us because they always played really well against us in the regular season. We beat them in the postseason, but regular season they beat us a lot.
Up until 5 years ago, Oakland was perennially good. Like they were the Rays of last generation, but
But on this list, you got Matt Chapman. There's Brent Rooker. There's a few other guys who were on the A's for like a year or two. They were always really good against us, regular season.
Yeah. It's the first time I've seen Mark Burley. I guess we've only done Cleveland and then White Sox. So like Mark Burley was always like a pain in the Twin side.
Zach Greinke on this list is not a surprise. For some reason, this year and last year a bit, I would say the biggest threat for pitchers against the Tigers, for some reason, is guys in their mid to late 30s who throw 92. We cannot hit them. Or, just soft throwing older guys who don't throw anything above the low 90s, and we just cannot hit them. It's very frustrating to watch because why can't we hit this guy?
Gavin Floyd was pretty high up there on the Tigers' pitching against list.
Yeah, Carlos
like Paul
Carrasco
Bird.
is a bit. We beat him up real bad this year, but I guess he was really good against us.
Well, okay, Carlos Carrasco. I don't know if, he's. I'm surprised the Yankees called. But was it against the Tigers, that Yankees game, or no?
Which
Carlos Carrasco.
we
They're playing this year.
homered off him a bunch this year.
Yeah.
This game, I think it was like 3 homers in 1 inning, and then I think he got pulled after that.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of these guys are in the division. You got Corey Kluber, Yohan Santana, Trevor Bauer, of course, Jose Quintana.
Oh, you know what? Sorry to cut you off, Lee, but I wanted to go back to the White Sox pitching one because I do think it is really funny that, where is he? Pitching against Chicago, that James Shields is one of the better pitchers against the White Sox. So when he was facing them, they were really good, and then it's the most lopsided trade of maybe the last 15 years. Just kind of thought it was kind of funny.
Painful.
He just can't.
What was the pitching sample size you used?
125 innings.
Why? It's surprising that the bottom of the list is that high. Like you guys have there's guys with 4 and 5 ERAs on there.
Yeah. And you do have a couple like Brad Rat that was steroid era. I'm guessing coming off of the steroid era. There's some of that goofiness, but
120 might be too big of a sample size. Because I feel like you get stuff that evens out. You get guys that are in the division that play them a whole bunch, but that includes the rookie years when you saw.
I did 150, and I don't think Kansas City had more than 3 names on it, so that's when I upped it to.
What if you did 50?
Then it got you had a bunch of relievers. It got really cloudy.
Yeah,
we could have done it. Which would have
Clace would be on all of them.
Yeah, you're not wrong. He probably would be, but that would be
pitcher,
6. Less than 10 starts for a starter.
How many starts is 125 is 15 starts?
I mean, now it's 3/4 of a season.
Yeah.
Now, but
it's interesting.
One pitcher that always did really against us, I remember specifically for some reason, Lance Lynn. He was always, I feel against the Tigers, he was always really good. I love Lance Lynn, though. He's great. He's fantastic. I love watching him.
Yeah, a lot of personality.
Sad that he retired. Yeah. I
like
pitchers that have a lot of personality because it makes it more fun to watch when they're doing really good.
Mm-hmm.
We'll just move on to
Kansas. He just better not end up on Team USA again next year. That's all. Don't need that.
Is he officially retired yet, or is he still a free agent?
He's retired. He officially.
So I'll move on to Kansas City hitting. I know Sam isn't here, but the Johnny Gomes, I feel like I remember this. Red Sox. Ty France, they just brought that up, so I thought that was funny. Matt Davidson makes another appearance. I feel like they have the most random list out of
this.
Everyone.
Is such a random list.
Yes.
Yeah.
Randall Simon, Herbert Perry.
They have a good spread of
Perry.
Right.
Rod Barajas, I remember him.
Yep. Aaron Judge is
Valentine,
still on it.
One of my all-time favorite players.
I forget that Shohei actually debuted in 2018. I feel like he is such a recent phenomenon, but he's been in the league for.
He didn't really have a good pitching and hitting season together, and for 3 or 4 years.
That's fair.
Jose Valentine, that's a fun one.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. One of my earliest baseball memories was seeing him hit a home run from both sides of the plate because he was a switch hitter, and in the same game. And at the time, I thought that was the craziest thing ever. In retrospect, it's that happens a decent amount, but still cool.
The only reason I remember Randall Simon is that he hit the wiener with the bat, during the wiener race.
Was that? I feel like that was someone else.
No, that was him.
That was Ruben Sierra.
No, I think it was Randall Simon.
I'm pretty sure it was.
You guys are probably right.
If it's not, it's a fun memory.
We're either having a Mandela effect moment right now, or it was definitely Randall Simon.
Wait, now I just geeked myself out. Who was Ruben Sierra?
Right fielder for the Rangers for a while, I think. Maybe bounced around for a bit. That's
Did he play in that same era?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pitching against Kansas City, they have a pretty solid list here. I don't know. Chris Sale, John Danks, who shows up on these lists too often, Scherzer, Verlander, Kluber, Giolito. All those make sense. There's really not one. Jeremy Bonderman had like 2 good years. He had a 10-year career. How the hell did Jeremy Bonderman make it 10 years in the majors?
He was mostly on the Tigers, right?
Yes. Well, I guess that's right. That's when they were really bad, and it was Jeremy Bonderman and like absolutely no one else. So maybe that.
Yeah, he was on the team from 03 to 10. That's kind of when
the name.
He was on the World Series roster.
Good to see my guy Mike Maroth make an appearance there. Love Mike Maroth.
Sox coming back, by the way. It's 4-2. It's only the 3rd inning.
Yes. Let it happen.
No.
No. We'll touch on the Twins. The names like Naylor didn't have that great of an OPS against. Jose Bautista, I remember if anyone remember when Target Field opened, they thought it was a hitter-friendly park, and then Jose Bautista just shredded that away, it seems like, in like 5 games. He's not the best, but Josh Donaldson, glad they signed him for those 2 years, has the best OPS. Aaron Judge, Delgado's, Ellis Burks, who I think was with the A's, second baseman.
At that point in time, I believe.
What does it mean from 2001 to 2002? He did all that damage in 2 seasons?
Yeah, well, yeah, in 153 plate appearances.
How do you hit that many times against one team in 2 years?
Cleveland. Well, they played 18 times a year.
It's 35 games.
Oh,
so
yeah, I guess back then
much.
Played each other more. Yeah.
I don't remember Matt Olson being all that good against them. He's still playing. Jim Thome torched him. Of course, it's David Ortiz because every Twins fun fact in the mid-2000s was they let go of David Ortiz. And then, Correa has had a good Mike. And then Mark Quinn, I think, is the most random name on here. I don't think I even remember him.
I like Yoenis Cespedes on there. Just kind of.
He was fun.
Yeah, he was good for us.
Didi Gregorius is a name that I was surprised didn't show up for Cleveland.
And especially in the playoffs, he broke their back so many times. It felt like.
Did he come up with the Diamondbacks?
Yes. Then was he traded to where? Was he somewhere before the Yankees? Was it Diamondbacks and then to the Yankees, or was there a stop between? I want to say Seattle.
I think it was. Wrong. I think he was straight to the Yankees, but I could be wrong.
Was it?
And then straight from Yankees to Phillies.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Because I think the Twins were talking to him to sign him, and then I think that's the year signed with the Phillies. That sounds right. But as far as random names,
so that Didi trade was actually the trade. Also, that was a 3-team trade. The Indians at the time got Trevor Bauer, Brian Shaw out of that deal.
Mm-hmm.
So it sounded familiar. I couldn't piece it together. That's what it was.
I hate to be a hipster about hating Trevor Bauer, but I remember in his Diamondbacks days, he had that people didn't know anything about him, but he had like a rap either song or album. And I hated him ever since. And so every negative thing about him that came out afterwards, I was just like, yep, just
this fits.
I thought,
If it's not Eminem, you can't rap.
Mm-hmm.
He's playing in Japan now, and he's not really good. So,
not even
right. Yeah, if he didn't have a social media platform, he would have been forgotten about 5 years ago.
He's a YouTuber now, basically, is what he is.
Yeah, I saw great because I saw something like, oh, funny how he says only 5 batters can beat him, but they all seem to always be on the other team.
It's true.
It's also funny how Garrett Cole openly talks about how much he hated him at UCLA. He's like, yeah, I hated him. Everyone hated him.
That's funny.
Pretty safe to do. Pitching for Minnesota. Felix Hernandez, I was happy like that. That seems to track. I remember him being really dominant. John Lackey for the Red Sox. Danny Duffy, I don't remember playing that long. pretty solid. Paul Bird, that makes me sad because I don't even remember who Paul Bird is. But the rest you're going. I thought Giolito did better. I wasn't surprised to see him on the list, but a 4.25 ERA. I don't know if he just had one horrible start. And then Trevor Bauer makes the list, but Max Kepler single-handedly added an earned run to that by himself. So
Kepler
that's
Bauer. And as far as Paul Bird, he appeared on Detroit's list too. He pitched for Cleveland. He exactly exemplified Lee's perception of right-handed pitcher that didn't throw hard, and it was in his mid to late 30s. That was exactly what he was. He was very much a pitch-to-contact guy. Didn't walk anybody, but didn't strike anybody out, and just would get 3 outs before he gave up enough hits to get out of the inning without drawing a big score. So that was very much what Paul Bird was. He was like the other guy in the rotation when the Guardians had like Cliff Lee, CC Sabathia, etc. So
I keep forgetting Cleveland had Cliff Lee.
Mm-hmm.
They had him for a while too. Like it was a couple of years.
He initially wasn't very good for them too. He wasn't on the 2007 playoff roster.